Welcome. You're listening to my fictional podcast, Dr. Grapples, the podcast version of the mystical fantasy folklore about me, Dr. Apples. That's right, me.
What are you doing?
I'm podcasting.
No, you're not.
Yes.
No, you're not.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, you're not.
Oh, yes, I am.
No. No.
No.
Give it.
You
give it. You
Yeah.
give it. Give it.
Fine. You podcast then. I'll go check on my pickled fairies.
Enjoy the show. There is no once upon a time. This is a story. And if you're looking for a perfect tale with a perfect ending, then this isn't for you. We're in the middle of this story. This narrative teaches you about perspective. This is Dr. Apple's story. I'm being vague, but it'll all make sense later. Whatever. Just learn from him so you won't live a life of regrets and limits. This is why I'm telling you this story. Dr. Apples doesn't live a life of limitations. His life is well lived. Yours should be too. Upon arriving home by sunset, Dr. Apples ran to his room filled with his findings. Nothing had been touched. He called to his mother,
Mama!
to see if she had seen anyone come by.
Mama!
She was out. Perhaps someone messed with the outside of the home? He walked around the shotgun house and noticed that everything was pristine. Dr. Apples frowned as the grass blades poked his bare toes. The bottoms of his pajama pants were slightly drenched from touching the damp grass. There's no reason for someone to play such a trick. This had to be a trick, right? Don't they know who he is and what he is capable of? This 16-year-old is invincible, right? His face evoked emotions ranging from anger to perplexity, all while daydreaming about various scenarios. Had he finally gone mad? Yes, he was finally insane. The wooden floor squeaked as he rocked back and forth in the rocking chair, from the afternoon right into the night. Dr. Apples pondered on the meaning behind the trickery. His left hand tapped the chair, while his right hand clenched into a fist.
Oh, this is pointless, stupid, and evasive. What kind of power play is this? It's an odd yet foolish one, I must say. I mean, how could I lie down in bed and end up awake by the creak?
Oh, these mind games aren't for the faint of heart. The only one he knew who would be so devious, so intelligent, so dastardly creative to do such a thing would be himself. After hours of pondering, he found himself wondering where the hell was his mother?
She still isn't home. This is unlike her. It's way too late. Something must be wrong. I checked my room before, but did I ever check hers?
Abruptly, he jolted from the rocking chair. It fell to the side, and by the time it hit the floor, he was in his mother's room. The room was clean. The bed was made up as usual, and nothing was out of place. He squinted his eyes to focus more before noticing a small pillow on the center of the bed. This wasn't his mother's pillow. No, this pillow looked soft to the touch and clashed with his mother's coverlet. The seams were hand-stitched together, and there was something on it. Whatever it wasn't heavy because there was little to no dent on the pillow. As Dr. Apples moved closer towards it, the room was quiet. When he reached the bed, he noticed that the pink pillow had a beautifully carved ornament. It was a doll that seemed familiar, but he had never seen it before. He had heard of these kinds of dolls, but couldn't recap the specifics immediately. His fingers were spaced apart. The curious hands wanted to touch the doll, but apprehension settled in. He snatched the doll into his right hand with force. Immediately, he felt the essence of his mother.
What?
Her love, smile, joy, the memories, the little nothings of her humming as she walked past him in the hallway. With his palm connected to the piece, he felt a strong vibration within it. The vibration intensified as it moved from his palm to his wrist, arm, and finally into his heart. His heart began to pound.
What?
The vibration turned into shocks. Dr. Apples felt a spirit around his body.
What?
It smelled like her. The subtle aroma of Casablanca lilies. The aroma encased the room. He slowly peeled each finger to examine the sculpture. It resembled his mother in an eerie way.
Mommy?
Instinctively, he knew she was missing, and this was in her place. Why? Well, that's another wild ride in the Dr. Apples universe.
Don't forget to subscribe, or I'll turn your apples into pickles.
Visit drapples.com for more magical madness. See you next time.
Bye. Or as we say in my dimension, apple-a-doodle-doo.
What? What dimension?
Just go with it.